On today's video, is Chris Jones at risk of missing Super Bowl 57? Should the Chiefs embrace the new villain role that's been given to them by the NFL and fans? We'll talk about all that and more. Stick around.
What is happening, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. Chris Jones, the best defensive tackle in football. Is he at risk of missing the Super Bowl? He's a little sick, Mike. I think he said he's got the runny nose, a sore throat, a kind of a cold type thing. Could it be more?
James Palmer actually tweeted out, Chris Jones told me he's under the weather, congestion, sore throat, but said he'll be fine. Seemed like a few Chiefs players were battling a little something today. So there's something going around that locker room. We don't need anything else affecting our gameplay, man. But no excuses, no excuses. These guys will get through it. They'll take fluids. They'll do what they got to do. They'll be ready to go by Sunday.
Right. Well, the cold's going around really bad. I just had it. It lasts a few days. If you noticed while the guys were talking the other day at the Super Bowl media stuff, Kelsey, Mahomes, a few of them had the sniffles going on. So I think it's just a little bug going around. Hopefully it's just a little cold and they can get over it and be done with it by the time the Super Bowl gets here.
Okay, yeah, speaking of the Super Bowl and the media and stuff, did you see where Brandon Marshall, I believe, asked Mahomes what he thought about Rihanna, saying he was the best quarterback in football, and then Mahomes answered, and then he was like, he didn't say that. Dude, I was cracking up so bad. We're putting up a short, so go watch that. Steve will link that here if you haven't seen it. Go check it out.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to do him dirty like that. That was just weird. Like that's a weird joke. I don't know. I don't understand it.
That was strange, right? It just seemed like an ex-Broncos player poking at Mahomes because I don't know. It was weird. I don't know. I guess because Rihanna's doing the halftime show. Who knows?
Just another L for the Broncos. That's all it is.
Yeah, just another L. So, man, the Chiefs are the new Patriots. Nobody likes us. They don't like our success. It's like something shifted this year. People were picking the Bengals to beat us. They were letting the Bengals trash talk us everywhere. We couldn't say anything back. It's now the betting favorite every time to pick against the Chiefs. Nobody likes us. Nobody wants to see us there. Steve, should we start embracing this role as the villain of the NFL? I think we should.
Well, what other option do you have? Because I've seen this trending for the last 3 years or so, mainly with just fans in general. They just started to hate the Chiefs a lot because they're successful, and the average person can't stand successful people. I don't know if it's for selfish reasons or what it is, or they just get tired of seeing it. Whatever it might be, I've seen that trend going up for the Chiefs, and I think you're at the point now that you have to, like you are the villain. If you don't take that role and you don't embrace it and you don't become that, what kind of fuel do you have? Because that's exactly what Tom Brady and crew did with the Patriots. They just took it and was like, okay, everybody hates us because we're winning. Well, let's keep winning just to make them even more mad. And that's exactly what the Chiefs have to do. They actually talked to Frank Clark about it a little bit, and he answered, it's just the same thing as the Patriots. He said, back when I was in high school and everybody hated Tom Brady and everybody hated the Patriots, it's because they were tired of them winning.
Right. Yeah. The Chiefs just keep winning. Everybody keeps hating. There's going to be more and more haters. Back when we sucked, maybe a decade ago or whatever, before Andy got here, nobody ever talked about us. So at least they're talking about us now, even if it's not in a positive light. The Chiefs players, everybody have to embrace that villain role. We know at heart we're not bad people. It's nothing like that. You don't have to be jerks about it. You don't have to be rude about anything. You don't have to act like the Bengals acted the other day, but you need to have a little bit of fun and going out. And if people are going to bet against you, make them lose their money. If people are going to talk bad about you, who cares? If they're going to pick against you, make them look stupid. We actually have a thing today where 45 Sports Center writers picked against the Chiefs. They picked the Eagles over the Chiefs. And these are some pretty notable names, actually. Let me read a few of these. Adam Teichner. We have Dan Orlovsky. We have Ed Werder, Phil Yates, Jeremy Fowler, Joe Buck, Mel Kiper Jr. from the draft, Rex Ryan, the ex-coach of the Jets, Teddy Bruschi, Robert Griffin III. These aren't like small guys at the network. These are like the big prominent figures. They're all picking the Eagles because nobody wants to give the Chiefs any respect whatsoever. Even though we have been successful and they hate on us, every time we get to a game, they just want to pick against us just to say, hey, America, we're with you. We don't want the bad guys to win.
Well, Adam Teicher's actually a Chiefs reporter, so that one's pretty funny to me. But yeah, it's exactly what you said. They're just kind of going along with the general consensus here, because what do you do when you're like a famous media person that has to make these kind of predictions? If you go along with the general consensus and you're wrong, and big deal, everybody was wrong. No one cares. They don't want to be that one guy that stands out and says, hey, no, the Chiefs are going to win this thing, because they're afraid of looking stupid later.
Right. They don't want to be all chiefed up. We've been picking the Chiefs every game. We picked them against the Bengals. We picked them against whoever. I think the only game I didn't pick the Chiefs on this year was the Bills game, which you actually picked them in a blowout, I believe. Steve's always picking the Chiefs to win. But yeah, we picked the Chiefs. We don't have a problem here, picking our guys and sticking with our guys. Other people like to hop both sides of the fence, wherever the grass is greener. We're not doing that. We're not working
Yeah.
for ESPN.
I've seen a lot of content creators and everything, even in Chiefs Kingdom, that like to jump over the fence sometimes and talk about how great Justin Herbert is or how awesome Josh Allen is and this or that. But the thing about it is yeah, they're fine quarterbacks and all. But let's stand up before our guys here, man, because we have the best one that ever graced the field of football.
Yeah, you can respect other teams, but I'm not gonna kiss ass.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been wondering if Eric Bieniemy is going to be back next season for the Chiefs. He actually interviewed for the Indianapolis Colts head coaching job, but he told the media that was the only job that he's interviewed for. But curveball, Spags actually said that he would like to become a head coach again. He's been there before. He said he thinks he can do it better this time around. Mike, what do you think about all that?
Hey, I never thought about it, but Spags used to be a head coach, and I thought, he may just be here as long as we'll have him. But Spags does want to get back in the head coaching ranks. Why wouldn't he? I mean, that's what coaches aspire to do. Spags was 10-38 with his 3 years with the Rams, and then he took a 2017 interim job with the Giants and went 1-3. So he had some rough days as a head coach. But with the Chiefs, I mean, come on, look what he's done with our defense. He's been to a Super Bowl 3 out of 4 years. Spags is doing this with a lot of scheme. I don't think he's ever finished worse than 16th in points allowed as a defensive coordinator with Kansas City these past 4 years. So he does have a lot of credentials, a lot of things that teams may look for. Again, nobody has actually interviewed him for that job. He just put it out there. So now that he's put it out there, I don't know. But speaking of Bieniemy, though, he has only, like you said, interviewed for the head coaching job with the Colts. The Colts probably are not going to go Bieniemy's way, so I don't see Bieniemy getting a head coaching job. It has been rumored that the Titans and the Commanders are looking for him for the same offensive coordinator position. It's possible he could go there in the offseason. He did only sign a one-year deal this year. So we may have some shakeups here going into next season with our offensive defensive coordinators.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, let's be real about it. I think Spags would be a bigger hit than losing Eric Bieniemy. And that's not me throwing shade at Eric Bieniemy. Everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of him. But the thing about it is, Eric Bieniemy goes on somewhere else. We put Matt Nagy back in, or we get a new offensive coordinator. It's still the Andy Reid show, man. He's still the offensive mastermind here in Kansas City. It's not Eric Bieniemy. Everybody knows that. But Spags has done such a good job with this defense in the last 4 years. Just this year, man, who would have thought with what, six rookies on this team that are playing almost all the time that they would be a top five rated defense by PFF at the end of the year? Spags took a lot of heat this year. There were a lot of Chiefs Kingdom yelling to get him fired. He needed to go. He's terrible. Open your eyes, guys. That would be a much bigger hit than losing Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Nagy. You've got enough minds here that's been running this Andy Reid offense now that nobody's going to come in and change that. It's not happening. You're going to have to come in and fit to what we do. Whereas if Spags was to leave, all these rookies and all this progression they made this year, they're going to have to learn something new now. They're going to have to change their style of play that they've started to develop into something that they're starting to flourish at. So I do believe losing Spags would be a bigger hit to the organization, but I don't see Spags going anywhere after this year. Maybe next year we can start considering that.
So being on the subject of food yesterday with the Philly cheesesteaks, I learned yesterday on Twitter that if you're not from Kansas City and you don't live there, that you cannot have an opinion on Kansas City barbecue, which that's cool, but no one in Kansas City can have an opinion on bourbon, chicken, horse racing, nothing from over here in Kentucky. So as long as we keep it straight, that's how it is. But apparently we don't have taste buds here.
Not just Kentucky, though. If you don't live in Kansas City, I guess we're not allowed to talk about anything. We can't talk about Nashville hot chicken. We can't talk about Texas barbecue. I can't talk about anything except for Kentucky, apparently.
Look, I heard a lot of people by making a tweet that said if you pick Gates over Jack Stack, Q39, Joe's, those types of places, that you're also the person that always picks McDonald's when someone asks where you want to eat dinner at. And that wasn't me throwing shade at Gates. Gates is delicious. We ate there last time we were in Kansas City, actually. Great food, but it's just not up there with Jack Stack for me, with Q39 for me, with Joe's for me. And apparently that was not a good opinion. That means that I'm uncultured and I've never been outside of Kentucky.
Right. Steve, you are in culture. Look at you right now. Gang,
I know.
gang.
We've never traveled the entire country over and
Hey,
over and over
I
again.
will tell you though, Gates, I like Gates for what it is, but Gates as a full whole style restaurant just does not compete with those. I'm sorry, they don't. If you grew up with it, cool, I get it. You got a little. I mean, we grew
That's
up
what it is,
eating.
man.
Yeah, we
That's
grew
what
up
I've
eating like
noticed.
Papa John's, but that don't make it the greatest pizza in the world.
The only people that have that opinion are people from Kansas City. And I think that's maybe what they're trying to say here. I don't understand it. But anyone from outside of Kansas City that goes in and tries these places and eats at them several times, they're never going to put Gates at number one. It's just not going to happen.
Fun fact: I didn't get to a Kansas City football game until 2002 or 2003. First year out of high school, me and Pops rode into KC to watch a Denver Broncos game for the first time either one of us had ever been to Arrowhead. I was 21, 22. Um, First restaurant we stopped at was Gates Barbecue. We loved it. We loved it. But once we tried everything else, you realize that Gates is kind of just, it's not up to par. I get it. These new guys, man, they're new. They come in, they bring that 5-star attitude. It's tough beating 5-star food. Again, like you said, it's just these people that grew up with it. I get it. You're always going to have a taste for it. But when you look at it objectively from an outsider's view, chopped little tiny burn ends is not the same as those juicy fatty ones, man. It's just not.
Look, man, there's a reason why Gates named his restaurant Gates Old Kentucky when he started. It's because he knows the guys in Kentucky can have an opinion and that they have taste buds. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's just fun. It's all good food. But that leads me on to my next point. Apparently, food is a big trash talk topic because Juju said the best Phillies are not in Philadelphia, and the media tried to run with it, saying that the trash talk has started for Super Bowl 57. We talked about it in this video right here. Make sure to watch that, get in the comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and we'll be back tomorrow with more on Super Bowl 57, some predictions, what we think is going to happen in this championship game, and more on your Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go, baby.
We're picking the Chiefs. Spoiler.